Who's there? Who's there? And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. I got Ty to my right. I got Matt to my left. And
whoa, who?
Yeah, I got Matt. To my left. Folks, you haven't seen this guy before. He's been asking to get on the pod, and reasonably so. He has a phenomenal picks record. He's been proving it all offseason to us. And so I think we're just going to get started today, folks, with a recap of what's been going on. We have an emergency in our fantasy football league. Draft starts in about an hour, so this is an emergency podcast. Ty and Matt need to talk something out, and what better time to do it than on the first pod of the year. Football's upon us in about 1 day, and we have a trade debacle that went down. I'll give you guys my understanding of it. Very quick synopsis, and then these two are going to duke it out to see who, basically, we'll see how the trade goes down. So what happened was they made a trade of picks today. Ty has the, what pick? 3. And Matt has the 7th. Okay. They switched picks in the first round, and they also swapped, was it the 10th round?
And the second.
Okay. And
first, second, and 10th.
Okay. And the reasoning that Matt wanted to move up was because he wanted to draft Travis Kelce at 3. Correct. And they even put a stipulation in there where Matt explained the stipulation.
Well, I made it pretty clear the trade was happening for Travis Kelce.
You did.
Before we, did a handshake deal with this, I said if Travis Kelce is taken at 1 or 2 overall, which neither of us expected to happen, but in the condition that it did, I said this trade is null and void. I need that condition to be on this because the only reason I want to make this trade is to draft Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Condition was certainly made. Yep. And I'll add Anderson, great friend, traveling back. He's been in the mountains all summer. Gave the boys a call on his drive home, talking the talk. I think he inquired with a few individuals regarding the trade. Knew he wanted to trade up. So all the people in the comments, Kelce at 3, ? First of all, I was mocking Kelce at 3. I was thinking about it. Yep. 2, he inquired with the 4 and 5 picks. Didn't necessarily work out. That brought him back to me on draft day. Civil conversation. We're just trying to figure it out. Trade gets agreed to with the stipulation Matt mentioned. Handshakes in the chat. 30 minutes.
This was, I checked, 12:58 p.m. We sent the handshake in the chat. And at 1:32, I got a text from Cullen. And if you're familiar with Cullen, he's our Shefty bomb guy.
He's our Shefty.
He is our Cullen bomb guy. And 1:32 p.m., 34 minutes after this handshake deal, Travis Kelce injury.
And you made the trade for Travis Kelce.
Yes.
So now, Matt, so then I kind of get a call from Matt. He explains to me, this situation is utter, how unlucky could you possibly be? First off, we'll all admit that was very unlucky. That this happened on draft day, 30 minutes after the trade. Matt is looking for something. Matt wants to have a conversation with Ty to see if there can possibly be a resurrection made, a removal of sorts. I think there's both sides have good points. So, Matt, I'll open it up with you. What do you want to propose to Ty?
And I didn't even propose backing down the trade when I reached out to Ty. My initial thought was I just want to have a discussion about this because, like I had previously stated, this trade was centered around Travis Kelce. I think me and Ty both knew that. That was pretty clearly established. And the stipulation was put in place about, if Travis Kelce was drafted and nothing was mentioned of injuries because, and to be honest, I'm like, what are the chances Travis Kelce gets injured today before the draft happens? And then it did, which, again, very unfortunate. So I didn't include that. But my whole thinking behind this was, when you go into a trade, you're assuming good health. And I think if someone doesn't have that good health, it's hard for me to say this trade should be kept in place because we agreed upon terms in which this person was healthy, and they've come out and said they think his ACL is intact, which is good news to hear, but just with the mechanism of injury, until we see some final MRI results, we're essentially working under conditions that we don't fully know the true status of his health moving forward. And I know that isn't necessarily the same as him getting drafted 1 or 2, but I feel like that falls into a category of this isn't why I wanted to sign up for the trade. And now I'm going into a situation where I don't fully have control and don't fully understand what's going on. So that's what I explained. And that was my reasoning, saying like, hey, let's pump the brakes on this. Because now, I mean, again, everything was centered around Travis Kelce. I mean, if you could have just, that was the player that was, the picks are just representative of what was going to be Travis Kelce. So the fact that he's hurt now and it sounds like he's going to be okay, but I just don't know. That's why I wanted to open up the discussion. It was my reasoning for that.
Yep. Which I think is fair. My instant reaction to the Cullen bomb was, I think literally my jaw dropped. I could not believe it. I was in shock. And then I'm sitting by myself. I just start laughing. And then Matt's like, the injury luck follows me. And it could not be more true. You know, people argue worse luck or whatever. I don't know if Matt has the worst, but he's in the conversation in our fantasy league. So it cracked me up. It seriously did. And then you get into the thoughts of the trade was agreed to. I like the point you made, assuming good health. You know, we're talking, you could argue Kelce didn't pass the physical. You know, he came into the team, he didn't pass the physical. You know, what do we do here? I'm a nice guy. I'm a fair guy. I was just laughing the whole time this was happening, honestly. I think my point of view was like, what stance do I want to take? So I think there's people in the league that Matt's doing that trade no matter what. I think if I was in an agreement with those people, I would be enforcing it. I think Matt would be understanding. So then I was just like smiling, like whatever. However, I still want to get something out of it. So then in my head, I was like, 14th round pick swap in good graces for nothing. For nothing. Lets you right out of the trade. You know, just I'm trying to make a good, you know, I think the fantasy football gods got me last year. I'm convinced I would have won the ship. I'm sure anyone who had the same situation would have been convinced they were going to win the ship. Basically, it was Burrow versus Allen when DeMar Hamlin went down. I don't end up winning the ship. I'm just trying to get in some good juju, good luck. So that's what I was thinking.
So you are prepared to just reverse the trade completely?
Yeah, why not?
And then you want to do a 14th round pick swap?
Yeah, good graces.
To give you would that give you a higher pick in
like
round 14?
5 picks up in the 14th round.
So you're grabbing, okay, so you're grabbing like running back 3 for the Seattle versus like, okay, yeah, you're moving up.
That could be a big pick.
It could be a big pick. You don't know what's happening then.
So Matt feels pretty stacked over here. Now, does that mean he's actually moving back up to take Kelce at 3? He knows the MRI results are in. Do you, maybe they're in. Maybe they just came in, because this is interesting. All of a sudden, Ty's just like loving 3 again.
Yeah, loving 3. We're loving where I'm at 3.
Interesting.
Well, and I've talked with Ty a lot in future leagues or past years, I should say. I think Ty just loves being part of moves. I think he likes to make splash plays. So I don't think he was like, I have to have pick 7. I want this trade. I think he just wanted to be part of a maneuver. And I'm glad you brought up the physical, because, and Dan will test this on the car ride. I was like, if my big argument I'm going to use if Ty's against this is like the NFL, like he didn't pass the physical, trade can't go through, right? Every trade is made and then these players pass the physical, and obviously it's fantasy football, so it's a lot different. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that was my big thing. I was like, he didn't pass the physical. Like, this trade can't go through. But
I think a big difference too is the trade hasn't been made in the app. It wasn't made for different reasons, but that is certainly true. I think a discussion has to be made, precedent of the league. Let's say we're in week 8. This is going to be owner to owner. I don't know what we can enforce here, but Than and I make a trade. Then all of a sudden the guy I'm trying to get from Than gets injured in practice. Oh, we agreed in the app. Do I see a canceled trade? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I think people probably have a lot of different opinions, because I think it's probably what gets agreed on at the exact time of the trade. However, we didn't agree in the app. I didn't really care too much. I would prefer to do the trade. I liked the people I was going to get there better, but the only way I end up upset tonight is if McCaffrey doesn't go 2 or Eckler. That's the way I end up upset tonight. Because if I'm going back to 3, I want Jamar. If Jamar's not there, I'm going to be upset.
Now,
at 3?
And I brought this up with Than too. I said, maybe I didn't, but I knew, we've talked, so I knew you wanted Jamar.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the top 2. I said, JJ's going 1. And I'm seems pretty certain that Jacob's going to go CMC at 2 here.
Jamar's there at 3.
I think Jamar's there at 3. And back to your original point, I think once it's in the app and it's gone through, it's done. Because people forget about this because it was a smaller trade, but I got fucked on that situation 2 seasons ago with Beer. I forget who I traded him, but he gave me T.Y. Hilton.
I remember that.
And the next day in practice, T.Y. Hilton went down.
But was he on your team?
Yes, the trade was finalized.
Yeah, I'm talking about like there's like 24 or 48 hours when it's in pending. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's tough.
It is tough. I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. At the end of the day, I couldn't believe it. I do think there are people in the league that would be holding to this.
Well, if you were in love with Jamar, you would want like there are people who if you were very I want Jamar at 3. Like I'm moving up for a reason, or like you had a guy like you would probably want to stay a little bit harder,
Yeah. Well, I don't even know that I necessarily love Jamar at 3 because I think later on I can get people that I like there. I don't know that the value is there at 3. It just I don't want McCaffrey.
Yeah,
that's it.
I know you don't like him, and that was my point though to Thany. I was like, if I'm not getting a healthy Travis Kelce at 3, I don't want that pick. I don't like the value I'm getting there. I should say I never brought back. I'm good to swap 14-round picks if you want to do that.
Do we want to hand? So is this getting finalized here?
This needs to get
it in the app.
finalized
On video. We got it.
Yep. Let's see.
So now you'll go back to 7.
So things will just stay as they are. Things will stay as they are.
How did you, now that we're here, how did you think this conversation was going to go? I'm curious. Would you, if I would have said like it has to stay, would you have honored, you think?
Oh yeah, I was prepared to do that. I knew you were a reasonable guy though, so I wasn't too worried about it going astray. I thought you would be pretty agreeable to it because we hadn't pushed anything through. We had talked about it, but I think the circumstances were pretty fair. And like I said, I made it pretty clear. If I was ambiguous about I just want the 3rd pick, fine. But I was pretty straightforward with you. I came out and said like I'm making this deal for Travis Kelce.
I agree that's a factor.
I want this this stipulation because of like I'm doing this for Travis Kelce, and then he gets hurt.
That's absolutely a factor. If you wouldn't have told me who you were getting and this came out, like there's no way that I would have gone back.
Since you'll be fair, or since you've been very fair, I think I should say with you, if he's there at 7, I'm going to take him.
That's good. That's good. That's real
and I'm just
good.
going to be transparent with you because I think you've been really fair about it. And I don't want this to come back and you get upset later like you just screwed me out of a trade. But in my previous talks, it indicated Travis Kelce wouldn't be there at 7. I don't know how this news is going to affect other teams, other managers. But I mean, so like I said, you obviously have the right to take him at 3 now. But I wouldn't want you to be surprised when at 7 if I take him anyway.
Yep. No, that's fair. I was curious to see how he would drop. What did you think?
Like where he would drop in our last night I had a draft 12-man, got him at 6. I think someone who's been dropping more than people realize is Eckler. I think Cooper Kupp, we follow the Cooper Kupp thing.
He's out of the top 12.
Yeah, we follow that though. Like we follow that and we understand that Cooper Kupp is not a first round. The value of him right now with his hamstring. How important a hamstring is. A little scar tissue going on there. He's not a first round pick. However, I think there are people in our league who don't really understand how serious the hamstring thing is for Cooper Kupp. They're gonna look like Cooper Kupp's still there. Cooper Kupp's still there at 8, 9.
I'm praying on it.
So I pray to God before me and you pick. I have 8, by the way, Ty, because Matt's ahead of me at 7, and so if he's going Kelce, that for me, I'm like, dang, like that kind of sucks. So I'm thinking, who do I take at 8? So what I hope happens is somebody reaches for Cooper Kupp ahead of me, so that pushes one of the guys that I'm looking for back one more spot to me.
I think the only way that happens is if in the app he's still up there.
Yeah,
I don't think
right.
anyone's gonna reach if the app has him down.
He's moved. He's back down.
But
I don't think it'll happen.
I think he's 13.
Yeah, but you underestimate
in a PPR.
the power of the chat. Someone just throws a little something in like, how is Cooper Kupp still there? Someone's Googling He had 1,500 yards last. Things like that. I don't know. I might be able to finagle something, but we will see.
Another reason I want to do the trade is I'm in 3 leagues. I had the 3 pick in every single league.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I was like, I wanted to change.
Yeah.
So
that's dangerous though, because as you know, I took Kyle Pitts in every league last year, and that hurt me.
the good news for me is that the leagues are so different. One's a keeper, one's a super flex, and then we have this one. So
Sure.
I haven't gotten Jamar Chase or anything, so like that's fine. But
Sure.
Can we diverge into Kyle Pitts a little bit?
That's not my
Maybe.
favorite topic to talk about.
Okay, but I've shared some opinions with you on Kyle Pitts because
We have a
for
quick
people that
combo.
don't know this, I was fully on board with him last year. Kyle Pitts, he had the pick before me. If he doesn't draft Kyle Pitts, I draft Kyle Pitts in the next draft pick.
Yes.
And terrible season, but you know what? I'm higher on him this year.
Yeah, I mean,
higher.
well, only because his ADP is
And
so
I
much
told
lower.
you why, because he's going what 7th, 8th round
Yes.
now. You're gonna get what a mediocre tight end in the 7th, 8th round anyway. It doesn't matter. You have Travis Kelce and then a couple guys and then all those other guys anyway. You're banking on at that pick. You're like, okay, I can get a guy that's gonna be okay. So at worst, Kyle Pitts is okay, like he was, but his ceiling is so high. So like, why not take the chance on a guy like that?
Right.
At this point in the draft. So that's why I've been higher on Kyle Pitts. But obviously, my strategy was Travis Kelce. So I've never.
is he on your no-fly list?
Well, that's the thing is like I've been on record and video multiple times, like running this guy's name through the dirt. Like I don't know how I can take him after doing what I did to him and the OC there, who I think is
What we call him again?
Crab Rangoon gone by now. Crab Rangoon.
Gotta be.
With that being said, I agree with you. Like he is at his ADP actually a pretty valuable pick. I wouldn't hate it, but that offense still runs the ball a ton. I don't know. I probably won't reach on him by any means, but sounds like he's
You don't have to though, because most people are of the opinion of you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this guy.
He's still there, Than.
if he falls to like 8, then it's like it's gonna have to be like I can't turn this guy down.
Yeah, like he's passed. He's not like I think Dallas Goedert is still going ahead of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Guys like that.
Waller,
Yeah.
Kittle, Andrews are all going ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think is he that I can't pronounce that guy from Tennessee's name, but
No.
is that where he's going around
Yeah.
there?
No.
I don't know.
It's around there. I think. I mean.
So
yeah.
what's the point? Like, okay, if he ends up botching whatever, you lose one of your later round picks. Otherwise, the potential in that guy, like,
Yeah. I agree.
Crab Rangoon, 2022. He's still the OC this year, by
He
the way.
is.
Atlanta's offense led the NFL in fewest penalties, 3rd in rushing yards per game.
Yeah, they
10th
run.
third down conversion rates.
They run the crap out of the ball.
So
that's
he's
why
actually pretty solid.
well.
Question mark?
Ty, I'm proposing this trade, by the way.
I proposed it to you, I thought.
Oh, did you?
Check that.
Yeah, that's probably a good call, huh?
Check that. Check that.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, this is the league. Anybody that's falling the app's like, the fuck? Yeah.
That's kind of why I like it too. Everyone's going to get this notification. Yeah, so a lot of drama surrounding that. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't too set. Yeah, I wasn't too set on it. I just, when it happened, I thought it was pretty funny. So
Yeah.
is what it is.
You know, we could spend the last 10 minutes talking Bears-Packer predictions, and then we got to be done in 10 because we got a meeting.
Yeah, we got a lot
got a meeting
going
at
on.
7:30.
We're busy people.
Why do we needed to end at 7 just because of the trade, so we're actually good.
We're good. Yeah.
We're good. We can let it roll a
Let's
little.
do Bears-Packers predictions, and then maybe just general thoughts on the upcoming NFL season. Who
Yeah,
you
let's
like,
do
who you
that.
don't like, teams, players, coaches, storylines.
Right. So we group chat dynamic, fantasy football league, good group of friends. We're chatting, we're talking a lot. Only one Bears fan in the chat. Danny Profits himself.
That's me.
We have all the teams of the NFC North covered. We got a Vikings fan, Lions fan, Bears fan.
Yep.
The rest are Packers. So my biggest thing about the Bears, and you know, I get being excited, I get all that, it's all fun. I just don't understand the worst team in the league having the confidence they have. That's just
Sure.
it. That's my thing. That's what I hang my hat on. They can improve, absolutely. The Bears and Packers have the same win total, I believe, 7.5. I don't know if that's changed. Week 1, Soldier Field, I think Bears by 1.5, I believe.
Yep, opened at 3, down to 1.5. Don't like that.
Money
but
line is like even Packers 120 minus 120 Bears or
it's
something.
minus 120 Bears, minus 110 Packers, which a 30-cent line. Don't really get that, but okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be a close game. I just am curious, Stan, your thoughts on the offseason. You obviously have to be excited. I get being excited. So where are you at?
So I'd like to just give a synopsis, a little elevator pitch on why I do think the Bears are going to go from being the worst team in the league to going to be the win total at 7.5, I think is fair. I do believe the over's hitting. We'll start with last season. They lost a lot of games, and I want to say the number was 8. 8 games by 1 score or less last year, which is to be something to be said. Whether it was a backdoor cover, maybe not as strong as like a game that we were in the whole way. But even games like the Eagles, we scored a touchdown late to cut it close. We played the Cowboys close. So I thought what I saw on tape, they play hard, they play well. What I saw out of the offense was one guy fighting for his life with a bunch of garbage men playing with him. We had a bottom 5 O-line. We had a bottom 5 receiving core. What did we do this offseason? We signed Nate Davis, right guard from the Tennessee Titans, who was PFF, one of the best run blocking guards in the league. We get Tevin Jenkins healthy, who again, PFF, you can talk what you want. Is he healthy? Tevin Jenkins will be, he wasn't healthy last year, which is, I'm talking more about last year. To answer your question, he's going to be out anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks to start the year.
So unhealthy.
Currently.
Unhealthy.
Okay.
Currently.
Just want to make sure I have good understanding.
He will be playing football. Yeah, currently. Last season, what I'm saying is why we were the worst team in the league last season.
Got it.
Now, so O-line, very banged up. Not saying we have a better O-line now, or we do have a better O-line now, but I'm not saying that we're all of a sudden really good at O-line. We went from the 32nd O-line to like a middle of the pack O-line if we're healthy. We aren't very deep there. So I will say if we get hurt on the O-line, Justin Fields will be running for his life once again. Receiving core. Darnell Mooney goes down, and all of a sudden we're rolling out practice squad guys. These are guys that were dropping balls consistently. Claypool comes in. He doesn't learn the offense very well right away. And, things are kind of, so everything around Justin Fields was like a very bad situation. Dan Orlovsky been on record saying that was the worst situation in football.
Dan loves Jordan Love.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, I respect Dan as he's kind of the JJ Redick of football. He's kind of the JJ Redick, but he also loves Justin Fields. Thank you.
Good. We got big quarterbacks going at it week 1. Though.
Yes. And then, you talk about the defense. People like to give Justin Fields shit because he didn't win games. We had the 32nd ranked off defense in the league last year. We gave up, I think it was like 30 to 32 points a game last year, worse in the league. We go in the offseason, we signed Tremaine Edmonds, we signed TJ Edwards, Jaquan Brisker healthy. We have Eddie Jackson. We draft Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami, who is going to be our starting corner, which bumps Kyler Gordon to the nickel. I just like what we have, and I like the vibes in the building. I think going that win total at 7.5. I like also the schedule we play. I don't think is as hard as it was last year. And then, I haven't talked about the guy who I've been very vocal about, Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. What he can do is unlike anything that anyone else in the NFL can do. He runs a legit 4-4. He runs past DBs pretty consistently. And so he can take a scramble for a 20-yard gain just like that. And so, people call him a running back, and that's
I've heard people say that.
It's a funny joke, but I kind of am starting to be like, yeah, he is a running back that can throw the football pretty well if you give him time in the pocket, and so I'm excited to see what he can do from the pocket. I'm also excited to see if he can continue to be the best runner of the football in the league at the quarterback position. He is, Jalen Hurts took that big jump last year. Now, we don't have a top 5 O-line, and we don't have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith like he does. But if you want to talk about like ability-wise, Justin Fields is a whole tier faster than Jalen Hurts as a runner. And then, Jalen Hurts has a little bit quicker of a release, but they both have shown accuracy downfield. Justin Fields' decision-making, I'd like to see take a jump this year. But overall, I'm very excited to see what he can do with a second year in the Luke Getsy offense. That's my elevator pitch on why I believe that we are going to be a lot better.
All right. Long elevator ride.
Went to the 30th floor.
No, we went to the 100th floor.
Yeah. So again, I get stuff to be excited about. What's pretty fun is that it's week 1 in Soldier Field. So as a Packer fan, while I believe we're going to win, and while this is loser talk, a loss is not the end of the world, but I think the pressure has to be on the Bears in week 1. No,
the pressure is more on the Bears. The pressure is more on the Bears.
So I kind of like being in that position. I think there's a lot to be excited about as a Packer fan. I think there's a lot going on. I just can't wait for the first week. I think I think it's just going to be fun. Everything points to it being a really tight game. So
such a tight game.
If you look to I think of most betting websites, DraftKings for sure, the Packers are the picked as the lowest seeded team in the NFC North. They're predicted to finish last.
yeah,
Which
Lions, Vikings,
Aaron
Bears,
Rodgers, I think people are writing them off. And I've been one that's always respected Justin Fields. And I think as a Packers fan, you have to be excited about this year. And as a guy that people will remember back when we originally took Jordan Love, there was a lot of shit about what happened in that draft. And I think I was one that was like, you're forgetting this is Matt LaFleur. You're forgetting the offense he's building. And going into this year, it's his offense now. So as great as Aaron Rodgers was, there was still a guy that was fighting Matt LaFleur, I think, at times. And now everybody across the board is Matt LaFleur's guy, minus Aaron Jones. But Aaron Jones is pretty much one of the most unselfish guys you could have in your offense.
Yeah.
You can plug him in to a zone running scheme that the Packers run. He understands how to fit in that offense. These are Matt LaFleur's guys. So to see these guys, and he has built this offense now, it's going to be exciting. And I think you're a Packers fan. You have to be excited about that. You finally get to see everything that Matt LaFleur has been building. I don't see how you lose Aaron Rodgers, generational quarterback. You go to immediately last place in the division over a team that, like you said, was last place in the league. And now all of a sudden there's a lot of excitement about them, and there should be. You'd be wrong as a Bears fan to not be excited when your quarterback is in that stereotypical year where those quarterbacks take a step. It's his second year on the offense. He added that big receiver, and they just added players around him to get better. But I think people are sleeping on the Packers. I'm obviously a little biased as a Packers fan, but I feel like I can speak unbiasedly when I'm saying there should be excitement in this team. They're the youngest team in the NFL in the last 6 years. LaFleur's got his guys, and you return a whole starting defense that they have been underperforming, but on paper is a defense that should be really good. And especially once you get Rashawn Gary back, you have one of the better lines in the game. You have arguably a top 3. I'm not even going to say arguably. You have a top 3 running back duo in the league. We're not going to be like Jordan Love, go do what Aaron Rodgers does. He just has to be an efficient quarterback in a system that is put together by a good offensive coach. So I'm excited to watch the Packers and think they can do some pretty special things.
Yeah.
keep this all in unedited. We just got a great monologue. Gonna start back up. And we're back.
Draft room, we compete officially open.
Yep. Draft room's open. Draft is in an hour, but we are still live. Matt, I don't disagree. And I think people might be sleeping on the Packers more because of the talent they have on their defense. But here's my question for you guys.
Yep.
You got Christian Watson made of glass. You got Romeo Doubs already dealing with an ankle.
All right.
So you're pretty close to rolling out Samari Toure for Jordan. Jordan Love needs some weapons as well. I think Musgrave's going to be a nice addition.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I think why the Packers aren't necessarily a little bit higher and the expectations is because the offensive weapons aren't. You don't have Devontae Adams anymore. You're one injury away from rolling out some practice squad guys, just like the Bears did last year. Sure. And Jordan Love hasn't really done. I don't know you guys like the way he's looked, but has he really?
Oh yeah.
Has he? I mean, we got a guy in a Jordan Love jersey over here. You gotta respect the love. I just think you guys are a couple injuries away from rolling out some pretty bad receivers.
So This goes back to my comments I talked about. I'm more putting faith in Matt LaFleur as a play caller in the system that he runs. I think it's, he comes from that Kyle Shanahan style offense where like, I'm not as concerned about the guy that we don't need Devontae Adams to go out there and get open one-on-one. This isn't Mike McCarthy. Let's spread and just throw the shit out of the ball. We have the best quarterback, arguably, or one of them in generations. We're going to ask Jordan Love to play through our system, again, that has two of the best running backs and is going to use the running game to shape that passing game. Now we have that tight end from Oregon State, Musgrave, who's a freak athlete, is what everything is pointing to. And Jordan Love is a couple of years now to learn under Aaron Rodgers, and you would hope he would progress. And to see him, again, work within this system, we're not going to ask him to go win every single game. We're going to just ask him to be efficient in this offense. So as a Packer fan, I'm more, and I've always, I feel like from the start, been on this, like I'm putting my faith in Matt LaFleur, and I trust the offense he runs and thinks, I mean, you look at the 49ers, I'm not saying he is Kyle Shanahan, but he comes from that tree. You have Brock Purdy, and it doesn't matter like who goes in these offense. You make it work with the guys you have. And that's more what I'm putting faith in, and more, and I do believe in our weapons as a side. Like I think Watson, I think Dubs. I like the kid from Michigan State. I like the two tight ends, Kraft and Musgrave. So not only do I believe in the weapons, but again, I'm putting more faith in this system. So that's me as a Packer fan. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I got my faith in number 10 behind center. Whoever you want playing receiver, that's fine by me. I'm loving what I'm seeing in his connection with Romeo. It's a beautiful thing to see. If he goes down, am I concerned? No. Number 9, we'll throw to him instead. Our wide receiver 1 is Romeo.
I don't disagree. He's the more complete receiver.
Yep. I think Watson. What do I think? I don't know how to, because Watson's they're both. I don't know what to say. I don't know what they'll lead. I think one's going to lead in yards. One will have touchdowns. I think it's easier to say Watson will lead in touchdowns because of the games played last year. I don't know. I think they're going to be a nice 1-2 punch. If they both go down, will I know every receiver on the field? No, I won't, but I'll know number 10.
I mean, that's if we're getting to the point where we're saying like, what happens if 1 and 2 receiver? Like, come on.
No,
that's any
a
team. You say 1 and 2 receiver goes down, the team's going to be worse.
Absolutely. I just love 10. I think big years out of Jones and Dillon, very big years. I think big years out of the tight ends.
Okay,
that's what I think.
I don't have any rebuttals for any of that, but let's go down our list. Let's go down. You boys go Packers. Offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and then like a comeback player of the year, a young breakout player of the year, and then also somebody who regresses.
I think comeback is easy for us. I think it has to be Rashawn Gary. Guy was, I mean,
Are you saying in the league or on the team?
On your team, the Packers.
Okay.
I think it's got to be Rashawn Gary. You know how he was fighting. He was up there with, Parsons and making his way. Like this guy could potentially be defensive player of the year.
Early in the year, yeah.
Wouldn't have happened if he stayed healthy. I think that could have been his year where he comes onto the scene. And now it's like people understand and realize his name as an NFL viewer. And now this year he would have been in contention. But either way, whatever week he got injured, I mean, he's our best defender. Well, Jair Alexander would have something to say about that. But when he's healthy, he's one of our top 2 defenders. I think he has to be comeback player of the year.
Okay.
Has to.
Yeah.
Okay, my comeback player pick, if we just want to go back and forth on the award, my comeback player is going to be probably Chase Claypool. And that's not necessarily an injury thing. As me and Ty learned last year, you can be a comeback player of the year and not get injured.
Yep.
You can just simply struggle. And Claypool came in. He struggled with the offense last year, but I've seen a lot of good videos, a lot of good things out of training camp. Fields and him working after practice, really getting some nice chemistry going. So not that I think Claypool is going to be like I don't think anyone should be starting him in fantasy, but I think he's going to have a better year. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people are doubting him. Like Claypool is my comeback player of the year for the Bears.
I like I'll go with Matt's league wide. I like the field against Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, if we're gonna go there. Yeah, this guy.
Do we have thoughts about that?
I think we're overdoing
it's too much.
Yeah, I agree.
It's too much.
I said this the other day with a couple buddies. Felt a little tense in there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, really? Come on, like
I'm with you.
Come on.
The guy eats a donut and they throw it on the news and people just bow down.
Shit, his throat's still working. Look at him swallow that.
It was news that he made the team. He made the team And that was all over everything.
Jeez.
I was like, oh, what?
He's
Comeback player of the year.
he's like minus 225 to win the comeback player of the year. You've never seen an award so lopsided to start the year. I
It's
mean,
not the spirit of the award.
He's
Yeah,
minus
it's
285.
minus 285.
Next highest is
Tua.
plus 2,000.
Is that Tua? Matt
Yep.
Stafford, Tua?
Tua, Russell Wilson plus 2. Russell Wilson, comeback player of the year. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What? You just sucked.
Yeah. That's why the award is kind of a bunch of BS. But okay, let's talk. Let's just go one more tangent off on a tangent. Does Tua make it through the year this year?
No, actually, he's going to retire week 10.
Oh, 10?
Yep.
Okay.
That was a pretty confident answer. Week 10. You've thought about that. So
Who do they play? You must know.
What do
They
you,
must
what,
re-
what
the
do you
Steelers.
know over there?
Retiring week 10.
I got the Saints bounty out on them.
I think he makes it through the season.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. Well,
Not a chance. Keep talking.
okay. Let's go back. Let's go breakout player for, I like this award, breakout player for our teams.
Go ahead and start with you. We'll let him get back.
Okay. I mean, there are easy answers like DJ Moore. But I think breakout means like last season you were performing at this level, and then you are performing now this year at a much higher level.
So can rookies in
breakout player, yes.
consideration?
So let's see. I would say breakout player of the year for me is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Actually, no, it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to take Kyler Gordon as my breakout player of the year. He struggled on the outside last year. We move into nickel, and he is going to be a really good player on the inside.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. From the Chicago Bears perspective, I'm going offense, and I'm going Luke Musgrave, the tight end from Oregon State. I mean, me and Ty alluded to it earlier. I don't think Watson, you can throw him. I think he broke out late last year, so I think he's out of the equation. Offensively, I think it's Musgrave. It's an athletic tight end, again, in Matt LaFleur's system. And if one guy's going to break out, I think it's the guy that immediately goes into the starting lineup and is athletic and is going to be a fallback for a young quarterback. So my pick would be Luke Musgrave.
Sure. BJ, welcome in.
Boys, didn't want to interrupt the session here, but glad I did.
So
I love Anderson's take, Ty's as well. I was just catching the end of that, so I didn't really hear everything you said, Than. But from what I heard, I like what I hear.
yeah,
So,
we're just picking like breakout players, like awards for your team. But let's just let's dial it in here for you. So how was your vacation to Banff?
well, it's incredible. I had had a great conversation with Anderson right before the flight.
That we did.
Pre-flight? Did he have the pre-flight jitters, Anderson?
No jitters. That guy was confident as can be.
So your hand was pretty steady?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty steady. I love. Hey, as long as the flight's not delayed, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Now was it American, Spirit?
It was American, and it was the same. It was the same airlines as I took down there, and nothing to complain about.
No passport issues.
No passport issues. It's funny when you go to Canada, they pretty much scan your passport and tell you 15 different languages you can choose from, and that's pretty much it. And then right when you get through, you're pretty much good to go. They don't question you. Yeah,
Sure.
It seems like a pretty easy process for going out of the country. But
Good. And now you're back. You're refreshed, and now you're ready to pick a nice fantasy team. Who you taking with your first pick?
it depends on who's there.
What pick do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4. Who are you taking at 4? Because did you hear that Anderson wanted to move up to 3? Ty bullied him in. Said no more. Matt's back at 7
So
now.
I'm going to say this because Ty's out of the room. I got a text. Me and Ty had previously talked about making a trade, and he sent me a text today, and I ignored him for about an hour and a half, waiting on BJ. If I could, because BJ's at trade 4, and I was in touch with him. If I could have traded up to him for trade 4, I would have done that. But I guess you'll find out about this. But me and Ty agreed to a trade.
I got the notification. Yes,
That wasn't the trade, though. We agreed. I was going up to pick 3 at 1 p.m. to specifically take Travis Kelce. And 30 minutes later, the news was broke about Travis Kelce. So
Ouch.
I was freaking out.
Anderson's before I could even pick him, guys, it hurts. I can never get away from injuries.
No kidding. Like, I'm telling you. And then so we got on the pod, we had a discussion, and we ended up with canceling the trade. I gave him a 14th round pick for being a good sport. So that's what's happened. But yeah.
Wow, that's.
I think
Interesting.
you should. I think he should have gotten like a better pick. Maybe 11.
I'm not going to propose that if he didn't.
I agree with that. I wouldn't have done it either, but I'm just saying 14 was very generous. fourth pick. Who do you feel like is going to be there? By the way,
Well, there's a couple of guys I have in mind. Honestly, obviously, if Chase or Jefferson drop, there's no doubt in my mind I'm taking one of them. But without a doubt, they're going to get taken.
yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm not a huge running back guy at the top of the level of the first round. So I got to see, if McCaffrey drops on there, it's always tempting to take him. But, with the Kelsey news injury, now it's going to be a little different. A lot of the guys are going to be Cup's still unknown too.
Cup is feeling pretty good. Cup saw a specialist in Minnesota. Specialist said that he shouldn't be out too long. I think Cup is, and I spoke to somebody in his camp, and Cup he's feeling pretty good. I think he was spurting at about 95% earlier this week. So
I haven't heard much about it.
I think
I
he's
haven't heard it. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot. That's why I'm still.
I don't think it's bad. Yeah.
Sounds like Danny's been looking into it though. Sounds like Danny's been looking into it.
I mean, very interested in his injury.
I'd expect nothing less out of fan.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, sounds like he's doing pretty good. So, okay, Cup on the radar. Yeah, I mean, a guy that I can't fathom just continuing to drop is Eckler, though. He just continues to drop in these drafts. He RB1 last year, had 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns. Justin Herbert's favorite target out of the backfield. So, guy that I'm definitely eyeing in mind. 4, though, it's an interesting pick, BJ. There's a lot of guys there for you.
I will say the Eckler thing. I will never deny the fact of how fries in the house.
Now, when's the last time an RB1 repeated? Does anybody know that stat?
It's a very long time.
Very long time. That's what I thought.
I will say about the
He
Eckler
is
thing.
very consistent.
He has always he's always proved the doubters wrong with putting up yards, points, etc. He'd never. Oh, I think my mic's off. He's always proven that he can put up the points and be a top fantasy back. I don't want him to be my best player. That's the only thing. And I don't say that with him being.
So you draft with your heart. You draft with your
BJ,
heart.
I agree with that.
I like having
can't
Eckler
draft
be your
him.
best player. Just it doesn't. It's nothing to be ashamed of or anything like that. It's just like, oh man, like Eckler's my best player now. Maybe your second best player ends up being your best player just because of the look of things. I just have a feeling that Eckler might drop off. No stats. To
Concrete reasoning.
Yeah,
but
no concrete reasoning behind that. I'm just like, not that I'm like not a huge Eckler guy. It's hard to fathom. He's had 2 great seasons back to back. I don't know about 3. Has he had 3 seasons?
He's consistent. I don't know. I think he had a hamstring 3 years ago because I had him a while back, and he had a pretty severe hammy. But yes, no, you're right. He's not a guy that you are like. Yes, I can't wait to tune in and watch this guy. Like you draft Bijan Robinson this year, you're like, I cannot wait to tune in and be a fan of this guy.
Yeah,
I get that.
The Barkleys of the world, and Tyreek Hill. Those are the guys that you're like.
Fun guy to have.
Fun guys to watch, and they can have 30, 40-point weeks sometime, in a rare game, but they can put up those numbers like literally. So there's a lot to look into. It all depends who's going to be there for me.
BJ at Ford. You heard it here first. All depends on who's going to be there. I don't know. It's going to be a fun week. But boys, I think it's time to wrap it up. We got a meeting here coming up, and it's been a good podcast. Thanks for hopping in here, BJ.
Can we hear some picks? Can we hear some picks before the year? Some gambling, some big picks.
Oh, like futures?
Am I stepping out of my lane here?
No, not at all. Who do I like coming into the year? Matt, I told you this a long time ago. I don't know how the Jaguars don't win their division this year with how weak it is.
I'm on that with you.
Yeah, I don't know how they don't win the division this year. Yeah,
minus 150, I think is what I took them at.
Yeah,
minus 150. I think that's like the second best odds to win their division.
I looked yesterday; it was minus 155. So it's
bumping a hair.
We like that.
Yeah, bumping a hair. We do like that. In terms of like specific futures, like awards, I don't have an MVP pick yet. I'm going to wait mid-year to take the MVP pick. I think there is a hair bit of value on taking someone else than DeMar Hamlin on comeback player of the year because I'm hoping
he doesn't win it.
I'm hoping that people start to be like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. The guy literally takes a step. He like drives his car and they're like, he still has a license after all that. It's getting a little ridiculous. And I love what they did for him on the field. I mean, it's very, very cool situation.
Inspiring. Yep.
We all teared up a little bit in that SB speech from I think it was a little bit of him, but mainly the AT there. But I think I'm sprinkling Tua because if he's a great comeback player of the year candidate. So in terms of awards, I kind of like him. Win total, I'm taking the Bears over. You know that. What about you guys? Any like breakout teams? Anybody that you don't?
I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking on Packers Bears, 7.5 for both of them. I think one of them hits.
One of them
has
agree.
to hit.
Obviously, I'm biased, the one, and you're going to be biased. I think one hits.
Yeah.
At least one hits.
Could be two. Do the Vikings take a step back? Because actually
Yes,
they could.
absolutely.
Yes, they do.
Their win total, don't quote me, I think it's like 9.5.
That's got to be under. That's got to hit under.
I got a couple I'm riding, and I'm going to go NCAA quick. Caleb Williams,
Sure.
USC's quarterback. I hammered him yesterday at plus 450
Heisman?
for the Heisman.
Yeah.
I think he's going to run away with
that's
it. There's a lot of
ridiculous,
guys that are in it.
Injury.
He's in LA. He's with Lincoln Riley. Injury preventing. I think he runs away with it. I don't care what else is going on. He's so talented. But that's my NCAA pick.
He won it last year too.
He did.
There's ridiculous
Did it.
amount of numbers being put up by quarterbacks this past
Yeah.
weekend.
I'm on the Jaguars to you. Another one I like. NFC South champion, the Saints, plus 120. I took them at.
Sure.
They got a great defense. You know, they've always said that they have Derek Carr, who, I mean, he's not a world beater, but he's going to get the job done in a division that's easily the
Weak.
worst division of football. Terrible.
Dude, the Buccaneers, right? It's Buccaneers.
Horrible.
Carolina.
Carolina. Oh, gross. Bryce Young. What do we think about Bryce
Atlanta's
Young?
might be even worse.
I'm not out on Bryce Young. He's just a rookie and a team that's not that good.
Their
So, like,
defense is solid, but besides that, they don't have many
Brian
weapons.
Burns holding out.
Brian, he is. So,
Yes.
Brian, so that's what I'm saying. You're taking a defense that is Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lynch, a defense that's already completely proven it. Last year, they almost made the playoffs with Taysom Hill, whoever they were playing.
Yeah.
They have Derek Carr, again, not a world beater,
I
but
think
this
Winston
guy can
started
get
half the games.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
this guy can get it done in a shitty division at plus 120. So I have pretty good money on the Saints to come out of division. I also like the Bengals. You know I'm a big Bengals guy. I love Joe Shiesty. I believe highly in him. So I'm in on him for sure. I think the Bengals, that's a very tough division, but at plus 140, took my odds. Another bet I saw the other day, and I looked on DraftKings. I can't get this. I saw it on Instagram. Daniel Carlson.
For the Raiders. Or
Correct. Daniel Carlson, kicker for the Raiders. 50-yard field goals on the season. 5.5.
Over.
He hit 11 last year.
yeah.
He hit 11 last year.
Hey, his
50-yard
brother
field goals.
might be in the same category.
His
We
brother,
don't know.
yeah, we're expecting big things. I looked on DraftKings because I love this little bet. I couldn't find it, but 50-yard field goals, 5.5, 11 last year. If you can get that,
You took it.
if I couldn't find it
Oh, dang it.
on my particular website, but if you can, I'm taking that.
Sure.
Six 50-yarders.
Yeah, I like that. That's a funny
That
bet.
doesn't seem unreasonable
That's
to
funny.
me.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's where I'm at for the season.
Sure.
My big bets. Saints, Bengals, Daniel Carlson.
Sure. Good. So we got Matt's bets. We got mine. BJ, could I get your thoughts on the Lions are favored to win the NFC North by a decent margin.
As they should be.
Not everybody believes in them. A lot of people say, I gotta see it before I believe it. Do you believe in the Lions this year?
I have to see it before I believe it, but I also know how mediocre the other teams are. Like looking at the Packers, they could be good, but they also could be bad. Looking at the Bears, they could be decent, but they could be bad. Vikings, they're headed in the wrong direction. So it's really up to the Lions to lose it. So which they've done year after year after year.
It's a good.
But-
It's good. That's
But you still have to pick. They got the most talented roster, and I like their coach.
Yep.
You know, their coaching
Yeah.
staff is good. So they should win the division. But it's the Lions. It's Detroit. We'll see.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun year in the NFC North, boys. That about wraps it up. We got a fantasy draft to get to.
We do.
All right.
Good luck to you, fellas.
Yeah. Good luck to all you guys. Peace.
Bye bye.